Hello everyone. So in this today's video session, so we discussed about next concept how style sheets are interact. So in last video classes we discussed about the CSS. What is CSS? What's the syntax of creating CSS? Okay, CSS syntax we discussed, and as well as how style sheets we are going to place. So the location where we need to place, there are three types of, we can place the CSS in three different ways. So one is inline, internal, and external. Inline we also called as internal, we also called as embedded style sheet. Okay, and then next we discussed the different types of selectors. So we are going to select the selectors. So why? Because the syntax, main syntax of CSS is selector properties and values. Okay, and then we discuss some of the properties also. Okay, and then values also, and then so that in that different types of selectors we discussed about the 6 different types of selectors. Okay, so element, class, id, contextual selector, pseudo class and pseudo elements, attribute selector. Okay, so that element selectors, and then how, where we, the location of style sheets, that questions are very important. The next concept, the next important concept, okay, this one is also asked in your previous year examination. Okay, how style sheets are interact, how CSS cascading style sheets are going to interact. So a cascade in CSS refers how conflicting rules are handled. So why we are going to discuss this interaction in the sense. So here we have three different types of style sheets locations we can place. Okay, and then we have three different types of six different types of selectors. So there may be a chances of conflicts will be occur. Conflicts in the sense. So if you are applying three different types of style sheets, means inline, internal, or uh, embedded. Okay, inline, internal, and external. If you apply designs in three different style sheets, okay, in these three different types of style sheets, your browser will take which one it will take first, or which, for which one it will give priority. And then we have six different types of selectors. By using that six different types of selectors, you can design for one element. Okay, you can apply all these six different types of selectors for one element. Okay, one element, then which one it will be give priority, which one your browser will execute. That concept we discussed in how style sheets are going to interact. Okay, so to how that conflicts will be handled by your system, that we discussed now. So cascade is meant by a analogous or to how a given style rule will continue to take precedence with the child elements. So I already told. So here mainly we concentrate on priority precedence value. So CSS uses the following cascade principle to help it deal with conflicts. So to for avoid these conflicts or to deal with these type of conflicts, so in CSS they use three types of principles, cascading principle. One is inheritance, specificity, and location. So these three are the main principles we are using in CSS to avoid the conflicts between the different types of CSS element designs and different types of selectors. So first one is inheritance. So inheritance is the first of these cascading principles. Many CSS properties affect not only by themselves but their descendant as well. Okay, inheritance here in this style sheets also we are applying the object oriented concept, inheritance concepts. So why what that inheritance concept will be apply here in the sense. So the child element always accept the futures from its parent element. Actually, by default, child element always accept the future from their parent element. If you are going to override that one, so then we have to carefully concentrate about the designs what we are going to apply, what actually have that parent, and then what we are going to apply for paragraph. Okay, so means child element from the parent element. That difference we need to observe. So font, color, list, these are all the properties, and text properties are inheritable. Okay, these properties are inheritable, means mainly these properties are inherit from their parent. Okay, layout, size, border, background, and spacing properties are not. Okay, these four properties what are there? Font, color, list properties, and text properties. If you apply to the parent element, that will be applied to the entire child elements. Okay, these are all inherited. Okay, and then this layout, size properties, and then border properties, background properties, spacing properties, this will be not inheritable. Okay, so it is possible to tell elements to inherit properties that are normally not inheritable. So it is a possible means there will be chances of some of the elements will inherit the future from their parents. Those who inheritable elements are there that can also will be inheritable. So when in some situation, okay. So see which are all the elements or what's the relation. Okay, this HTML is the main parent. We already know. We already discussed in last video sessions. Okay, from this these features will be inherited by the head and body. Head parent features will be inherited to their child, meta and title. Body feature will be inherited by this H1, H2, H3 and all. Actually, mainly, if you apply the font families here, this example, here in this example, actually we are not applying CSS properties for this HTML head and meta tags. Why? Because they are not displaying in your browser screen. Only body part will be displayed. So now for that, directly we are applying the properties to the body part. So body family, font family, color, okay, margin, and border. Four properties they are applying. In these four properties, only font family means font property, color property will be inherited to their child. For body, here you see which these are all the tags are there, right? These are all the children's, okay, the grandchildren. For all those things, it will be applied. Only font and color, not border and margin properties. That's the thing they mentioned here. Layout, sizing, border, background. Okay, these properties are not applied, not inheritable. Only font, color, text, and list properties will be inherited. So more inheritance, if you want to apply to the particular div, so in div also here you see divs are there, two divs are there. For these two divs we have parent, child, and as well as grandchild. So only font weight and margin, font weight property will be inherited. Margin and border properties are not get inherited. Why? Because that is box model. Okay, that will be the main layout that we discuss next. Okay, so in this way that inheritance will be that we inherited features will be applied from one parent to the child. Only font, color, list, and text properties will be inherited from parent to the child. So not this border size and then layout and background. Okay. So next will be the using the inheritance value. So by using that inheritance value, we can use inherit as a keyword as a property value. Why? Because here you see for this div we have paragraph. Okay, this one is assumed div. Okay, they created div here. Okay, one paragraph, two paragraphs are there. Okay, so but if you want to apply or if you want to inherit the parent properties that are non-inheritable, we already know border, background, sizings, okay, and then space, layouts, properties are not inheritable. Okay, if you want to inherit to their child, then you have to call inherited value. Inherited value, then it will inherit from their child, parent, from their parent. So here parent margin property is not inherited to that child. Okay, but if you want to inherit the same value to the child also, then you call that property margin property and then you attach value inherit. So if you mention the value inherit, then it will inherit from his parent. Okay, this way also you can inherit the value from parent to the child. And then second rule is a specificity. So I hope you all understand inheritance. In inheritance, only these three properties by default will be inherited from parent to the child. These four properties: font, color, list, and text. But these properties are not get inherited. Okay. So, but if you want to inherit, then you use what? Use inherit value you have to attach to the particular child element. So by using that inherit value, that future, by mentioning that property and then inherit value, you can inherit the value from the parent. Okay, next one is specificity. So specificity, here we are going to discuss about which one will take the greatest priority, whether it is inline or internal or external. Okay, specificity, how the browser determines which style rules takes precedence, which more than one style rule could be applied to the same element. So for example, by using inline, by using embedded, or by using external CSS, for you applied you used all these three different types of style sheets, and then you apply color to the one element for a same element by using all these three. In these three, which one it will be take first? So that specificity explained here. In CSS, more specific the selector, the more it takes precedent. Means which one is the specific selector, means which one is the near to that particular element, that one will get more precedence. The way that specificity work in the browser is that the browser assigns a weight to each style rule. When several rules apply, the one which is the great weight takes great priority. Means great weight means great preference, which one that will get more priority. See here, see the difference. Okay, so this one is an example actually. So body, So in body, so they mentioned the text, they designed this one. Okay, so it will display like this. Okay, so see, for this div, they are applying font weight normal and then color magnetism. That will be applied to all the divs, and then inside that what element is there. Why? Because font and color property, right? This will be applied. But if you want to override, then which one it will take? Okay, so here the specificity algorithm is there. So here first your browser will take element selector. Okay, the element selector value. So that element selector value will be override by descendant selector. Descendant selector overrides the element selector. First priority will give to element selector, and then next it will jump to descendant selectors. Okay, only elements only. Okay, and then next it will give priority to next one, class or id selector. Class and id. Next, it will give priority to class and ID selector. First, your browser will select the element selector. That property it will apply. And then next, it will search for descendant selectors. So then it override the element selector value. Okay, if you not enter anything, first it will be display its browser default value. Okay, and then element selector value it will be override by. Okay, and then next element after that element selector, it will descendant selector will override the element selector future. After that, class and attribute will override the descendant selector future if it is there. If descendant selector is not there, class or id override the element selector future. Okay, and then next id selector. So after that, first class and attribute selector, sorry, not id, class and attribute selector. Okay, after that id selector. Okay, after that id plus additional selectors which we are using. So after that, if it will check the inline style sheet. If inline style sheet is there, first it will take the priority of inline style sheet. Okay, so first it will check element will be override by descendant selector if it is there. So descendant will be override by class and attribute selector, and then next it checks for id. If id selector is there, then it will check the id and then override. If id is not there, next it will check for other selectors. Okay, after that, if inline is there, first it will take the priority of inline and then it will override. Okay, so in this way that override will be happen. Obviously, first it at last it will take inline selector first. Okay, so by overriding all these things, if anything, if all these things are not there in your html code, your browser will display the default values. So this one is your specificity algorithm, for which one it will give priority. Okay, so next one is and then here they are not mentioned. First inline. Okay, actually first it will give preference to external css. After that external css, next I will explain. Next it will check for internal css, embedded css. External css features override by embedded css, and then that embedded css features override by inline css. So next one is location. Finally, when inheritance and specificity cannot determine style precedence, the principle of location will be used. Okay, actually here also we are not getting proper, because we have some features in inheritance. Again, for inherited value, if you give different values, so then there also it will create a problem. In specificity also, if you are not using id or class selector, if you are in different selectors, then it will get confusion. For that, they introduce the location principle. So here, which one will be executed first? So that's why why they mentioned location in the sense. So where we are placing the element, you already know our HTML tags will be executed from top-down approach, just like C programming, one after the other. First, which element you enter first, that one will be executed first. Which tag, ಯಾವ tag when you ಬರ್ದಿರ್ತೀರ, which tag you specify first, that one will be executed. Okay. So that's why first we have to specify the link tag, external style sheet, how you are attaching to your HTML by using link tag, right? For link tag, first that external will get executed. That's why first after inside it, link tag we specify, and then below that link external, you can create inline by using style tag, or embedded we called as embedded by using style tag. After that inline element we apply to the particular element. Okay, so final that principle of location, it is that when rules are the same specificity, then the largest are given more weight. Okay, here they are discussing about the weight means which one having more elements. Okay, for instance, an inline will override or define is an external author style sheet or embedded style sheet. So inline, here what they are going to tell, inline will override the external or embedded style sheet. Similarly, embedded style sheet will equally specify rule for external style sheet. Embedded will override the external style sheet. So it appears after the external style sheet link element. Style defines in external author style sheet will override the style of external author style sheet to X element is after Y in an HTML document. So here I told that the first inline will get executed, first external will get executed. When external is get executed first in the sense, when you first mention the link file in your HTML. Okay. After that, if you mention style, first link executed and then style override the style tag means internal override the external things. But if you first before link, if you mention internal style sheet, first internal will get executed and then external will be executed. Why? Because that location is very important. If you mention first internal, okay, if you first mention external file link, okay, that link, then external will get executed. After that, if you mention embedded style sheet, that embedded will override the external. If you reverse that one, first if you insert in embedded means style tag, okay, style tag inside that if you design, first it will get executed. After that, if you mention the link tag, that link external style sheet override the above internal style sheet. Okay, so that one they are telling here. Similarly, when same style property is defined multiple times with a single declaration block, the last one will take precedence. So if you are writing the same code twice or thrice, last one which value you declare, that one will be executed precedence. Okay, so this one is the location. So override means first browser default values will get override by link. Here you see first link they are calling link tag. Okay, first this link tag override the browser default values. After that, we have internal style sheet. This internal override the external style sheet. Internal or embedded, both are same. This internal override the external style sheet properties and values. So if you change this one, assume first if you mention the style and then link, first style means internal style sheet override the browser default values. After that, link if you call that link external style sheet override the internal style sheet values. Okay. After that, that sixth one is the right. First browser values will be override by your link, and then this link values will be override by your this link values override by this link value, and then after that this style will override this one, and then these two are overrides. Okay, okay, and then sixth one that inline. So this inline will get last priority, last precedent value, color values. Try to execute this one, which color will be displayed. Okay, and then see the difference. Okay, so this completes your um, location concept. Okay, this one is also important. How style sheets are interact, important question. Then you have to mention inheritance, specificity, and location. In inheritance, so these four properties will be inherited from parent to child, okay, by default, and remaining this layout, sizing, borders, background, spacing properties are not get inherited. You want to inherit, okay, then you call that property and then we call inherit value. Okay, and then next internal CSS. So that internal specificity, in specificity, which one we are having more precedence means here that the precedence will be depends on weight of the element, means number of elements it contains. But actually here that algorithm is there, the specificity value is 1 2, and then here 10 means 3 4 and then 5. Okay, so that which one will override which value, that element selector, that algorithm you have to write. And then location, which one is execute. Okay, first inline. Okay, first browser default values will be override by internal or external, which one you placed first. If you place internal external first, then external override that one, and then that external override by internal, and that internal default values will be override by your inline values, inline style properties. Okay, so in next video session we discussed about box model. This one is also very important, okay, for your examination purpose and then your project purpose. Okay, so in next video we discussed about this box model. Okay, this one is also very important question, box model. And then next we discussed about some of the properties and values. So overflow properties, and then border properties, and then we have font properties also they explained here. Okay, they mentioned in your syllabus that font family and all. So these things we discussed in next video session. Thank you for watching. Keep watching videos. If you get any doubt, message me.